Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Good afternoon. I'm Victoria Hill in for Samantha Sullivan. Montana Governor Steve Bullock was on the national stage Tuesday night in his first appearance in a Democratic presidential candidate debate. And as MTN's Mike Dennison reports, Governor Steve Bullock mixed it up with the frontrunners, often by trying to portray himself as the more moderate, practical alternative.
In the first of two Democratic candidate debates in Detroit, Bullock shared the stage with liberal firebrands Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren on Tuesday night and 7 other candidates. He didn't waste time drawing distinctions, saying he would not support a Medicare for All health plan favored by Sanders and Warren.
I'm not going to support any plan that rips away quality health care from individuals. This is an example of wish list economics. It used to be just Republicans who wanted to repeal and replace. Now many Democrats do as well.
He also trotted out another oft-used campaign message of his, that of being a Democrat who is progressive yet moderate enough to win in a conservative state.
He's the only one of the field of 37 that actually won a Trump state. 25 to 30% of my voters voted for Donald Trump. I know that we do have to win back some of those places we lost and get those Trump voters back if we're ever going to win.
And when it came time to talk about addressing climate change, Bullock warned against going too hard on the anti-fossil fuel rhetoric, prompting this exchange with Senator Sanders.
No, I think Democrats often when they're saying, oh, these fossil fuel industries, these workers, those coal miner workers, look, the world's changing, we got to make it change. But I think Democrats often sound like the people that, as Congressman Ryan would say, shower at the end of the day, that they're part of the problem. And far too many communities are being left behind as we make this transition. Look, we're having this discussion, and we can talk about competing plans.
Thank you, Governor. I want to give Senator Sanders a chance to respond.
Look, Steve, there ain't nobody in the Congress who's more strongly pro-worker than I am.
But as the evening wore on, CNN moderators often left Bullock out of the discussion for long periods of time. Measured in minutes of exposure, he stood in 7th place out of the 10 candidates. So was Bullock's moment in the debate sun enough to elevate him to the upper tier of Democratic candidates? That we can't know yet. But we do know he's going to need a boost in support if he hopes to make it to the next debate in September. In Helena, I'm Mike Dennison, MTN News.
And 10 more candidates will be on the debate stage tonight in Detroit. 4 new fires have been reported in the Helena area as resources are already stretched thin from the 4,600-acre North Hills fire. At least one of these new fires is forcing more evacuations. Evacuees were able to return home briefly to collect important items, but no one was allowed to stay. The fire has come within feet of some homes, but no structures have been lost. Crews are concerned with gusty and erratic winds from thunderstorms, which could create spot fires across the Missouri River. And just outside Missoula, a firefighter was injured while fighting the 211-acre Bees Cove fire. We're told the firefighter is in stable condition. Hotshot crews are building fire lines and helicopters are dropping water to slow the fire's growth. Fire managers expect the lightning-sparked fire will grow to the east and south with uphill runs. The Moss Ranch fire southwest of Ronan is holding steady at just over 5,300 acres and is 60% contained. Tribal officials have hiked the fire danger to very high on the Floodhead Reservation as hot and dry weather continues. And now we talk some more about weather. Fire in some parts of the state and other parts storms.
That's right. Thunderstorms, some heavy rain at times. Let's take a look at the map. This was from last evening and some of the storm reports that we received. Of course, some of those wildfires that we just talked about around the Helena area with new starts there, but also hail around Stevensville, around the Victor area, south of Missoula last evening, up to a little bit bigger than an inch in size, especially around Victor. As we take a look into eastern Montana, lots of hail and wind reports. Around Terry, had a report of an awning blown off a convenience store, and about 100, 200 feet that went, along with areas of rain over the I-94 area right around Terry, and some larger hail. The largest hail up in northeastern Montana, up to 2 inches in size. More on the forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Thank you so much, Ed. The man accused of molesting hundreds of male student athletes during decades as an athletic trainer in Miles City is sentenced in federal court. 79-year-old James Jensen will serve 12 years in prison with 3 years of supervised release. While a civil suit and state charges are still in play, Jensen pled guilty back in December to using the internet to entice underage boys to engage in sexual activity. Jensen will serve his sentence in a Minnesota federal medical center, which is reserved for prisoners with medical needs. The attorney for the 32 plaintiffs who have come forward in a massive civil suit against Jensen say this federal sentencing closes one door, but others are still open.
We look at this as another chapter done and a bit towards closure. While there's not much to commend about anything about Jensen, the fact that he didn't put the victims through a trial is meaningful.
And Jensen is scheduled to answer to more of his charges in Custer County next month. A Missoula man convicted of killing a German foreign exchange student in 2014 will not get a new trial. 5 years ago, Darren Deedy, a Big Sky High School foreign exchange student, entered Marcus Karma's garage for what court documents describe as garage hopping. However, court documents say Karma had set a trap to lure in potential robbers in hopes of killing an intruder in defense of his home. Karma was found guilty of murder and sentenced to 70 years in prison. His most recent appeal was on the grounds of ineffective counsel. However, that appeal has been rejected. New counsel for Karma says it hopes to appeal to the Montana Supreme Court, a process that could take months. And the state of Montana won its lawsuit against the IRS to make tax-exempt organizations disclose the identity of individuals who donate more than $5,000. Governor Steve Bullock filed the lawsuit on behalf of the state of Montana nearly a year ago. The lawsuit was filed as a response to the Trump administration's attempt to loosen campaign finance rules. Bullock hailed the decision as a win against dark money in Montana politics, saying in a release, "Days like this are proof that if we stand up and fight for what matters, we can beat Donald Trump and make the government work for us."